Hi, Rachel, Tunba, welcome in. Plastic Patty with the first, as always. Way to go, man. Hi, Rachel,
That's one I'll
Tunba,
never
welcome
take down for
in.
podcast
Plastic
night
Patty
either.
with the first,
Is
as
is the
always.
first because
Way to
getting
go,
first
man.
is really important.
There's only one. I think I hear Bitcoin. Oh, hell yeah. Does Bitcoin have a favorite tea?
Ooh, okay.
How's everybody doing tonight in chat? I don't know what I'm listening to, but it's kind of funky. No, I'm listening to music over here. Mm-hmm. What tea? Yes, everything is coming to setting up your Pumador. Nice. Okay, so what's been funny is that like I've got a couple Pumadors just for like different kinds, so like I don't like transfer scent too easily. And lately though, the weather where I am has been like basically the same weather as like central Indonesia, and so it's like basically like Pumador weather no matter what. And so I haven't been like really too concerned about putting my cakes back. We live on the sun. Of course, Elise, I know it's really hot for you probably too in Las Vegas. Really? Like dry heat, right? Wow. The moment. Hey, fan, welcome in. So I think I heard it be thundering, potentially outside, or that might have been a neighbor's TV, which is fine. But it's been like hinting at rain for like the last few weeks, or like the last few days, and I'm just like, please God, cool something down. All right. I'm just kind of pulling out a little bit of leaf here. I got two different sized guy ones, which is like frustrating, but we're gonna make do.
Yeah, it'll be fine. This is not technical, and tea really never is, especially if you're on like an educational journey. It's
Yeah.
best to be relaxed versus trying to be rigid, and
Yeah.
everybody always does end up becoming relaxed. Like there's so many tea lovers that I've met them at the beginning of their tea learning journey, and all these years later, they've no longer writing everything down, no longer measuring everything exactly and timing everything exactly. Um, just going with the flow and
Yeah.
learning how to be present in your feelings is by far the most valuable way to taste and learn about tea.
Well, shall we get started?
Yeah. Hey,
Cool.
Dawn. How's it going? Dawn says my voice sounds deep tonight. Maybe it's because I got the lapel mic on because we're trying to be pro here and we're gonna catch some good audios.
Yeah. So for everybody on my side, when we're recording, we're not going to be interacting too much with chat. There'll be a live symbol up top, and we'll have a little bit of time in between, probably at the end, to kind of chat and answer any questions. So thank you all so much for joining us, and hope you enjoy our second episode. But without further ado, yeah. So welcome to the second episode of the First Tea podcast. It's a tea podcast where we talk about tea and where the tea came from, the land, the people. My name is Colin. I'm a Twitch streamer and a content creator that drinks probably too much tea.
There's not too much tea.
No, I agree. And you care to introduce yourself as well?
Yeah, my name is Elise. I am the CEO and founder of Tealet. I'm also a Twitch streamer and a TikToker and all the wonderful things that we love to do together, ultimately with the goal of spreading the knowledge and love of the tea lifestyles. So, yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah. So Elise sent me a package in the mail with a bunch of tea samples in it, and I hit you up today, and you said white tea it was. And what I was really excited about was Ruby 18 white tea, because I've been hearing a lot about it this month because of communities that I've known. Apparently, people like to drink Ruby 18 tea in July because it's like the July gemstone or something or other like that.
Well, you should be looking forward to it. It's a really great tea, and I think that this pairing that we have here today is going to be a really good experience to learn about white tea, and not just white tea, but slightly oxidized white tea, what could be described as like white peony or bai mudan, but these teas are both unique in their own special ways.
So I last time we did like progression, and I actually have two guy ones now because so I got this term from you the first time that I popped into your stream. You had a really big guy one that night, and so you called it your party guy one.
Yeah.
And I unfortunately broke my party guy one recently, so I've been like only with like one porcelain guy one, and so I picked up a new one because they're really cheap, honestly. So I've got two now, so I can do side by side actually this time, which I was actually really excited to do because of how different the terroirs are supposed to be, I guess.
Yeah, no, it'll be great. I'm going to be actually using glass pitchers today. I like to brew white tea in glass pitchers just because of the visual aesthetic. You can see the leaves brewing in the water. And, no filter. I'm just going to go directly from the glass pitcher to my cup. And not really concerned about overbrewing the tea, over steeping the tea. That's the thing about white teas. I'll just leave it in there. They're so forgiving, yeah. I mean, there's some that aren't, like the moonshine, that would be one, but one could argue that that's technically a green tea, so right. That's why you would want to be more temperamental with it. But with these white teas, they will not oversteep. But hopefully I drink them fast enough that I can reinfuse them. Yeah. That's the thing about like drinking tea alone like this is, usually when you're with a group of people at your tea table, you have that opportunity to move through the teas faster because you have more people there to drink them with you. When it's just us sitting here in our virtual little tea drinking spaces, we got to drink a lot of tea. We got to take it for the team.
I have been accused recently, actually, by some people of being a very fast tea drinker.
Yeah.
Because I'll move through like steeps of tea really quickly, and I'm like, I am just a really thirsty person. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, so can you tell us a little bit about the tea then? Kind of, I guess, what your thoughts are here and kind of what's going on. I've got the leaves kind of laid out as well, and the big cam here for stream, so I can show on my side as well.
Cool,
I know you got it overhead too.
Yeah. We're streaming magicians over here. So tonight we are going to be drinking two very different, slightly oxidized white teas. One of them is coming from Malawi, Africa, and the name of this tea is Bavumble BSP. The BSP stands for Broken Special Pecco. So, we were talking about the gradings last week a little bit. We talked about it a little bit.
A touch, I think.
Yeah. So the Special Pecco, I mean, that's like a higher grade of the plucking standard, but it's broken. So you can see the leaf is broken. So that's where that B comes from. Now the other tea is a white tea processed from the Ruby 18 cultivar, which is very unique. The cultivars for this other tea are, not as specific because, it is a larger scale, more plantation style. So it's a blend of various cultivars that they've selected for their fields. But here, this is a very specific cultivar, very famous. It's become in the past couple of decades famous. And I actually have some video to show not only of the man that grew and processed this tea, but also his mentor, his tea master, like legitimate tea master, who is the man who popularized this tea in the Sun Moon Lake area, and Alfredo had studied under him for several years. This is a cultivar that was developed at the Tea Research Center in Taiwan, probably the most advanced tea research body in the world. And there's other research centers and universities that have done a lot of work around researching tea and developing cultivars and studying cultivars and processing methods. But what's unique about the Taiwan Research Center, a tea research center, is that they have an outreach into the industry. Like there is a very pointed, intentional outreach of not only discovering the information, but getting it out not just to big business, which is typically how like government research goes, but getting it out to the actual small tea growers that would be the ones to put this in the ground and develop the industry around it. This is a cross between the native Taiwanese tea variety. They just call it, just mountain tea. It's just like the natural, right. And there's not a whole lot of information. Like I've tried, and I know that there's more work that can be done into like understanding the origins of that variety itself, but it's just known generally in the industry as like the wild cultivar or the wild variety in Taiwan, and with an Assamica variety via Burma or Myanmar. And those were crossed together to create this variety, which is, highly valued. When we taste the tea, we'll talk about the actual flavor notes that are involved in this tea that are characteristic of this cultivar. With this one, there's not going to be so much of that specific character around the cultivar. It's more going to be around the terroir, which the cultivar is included with terroir, but it's like more of like the climate there and. Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely be able to taste a difference in processing as well.
Right.
Different process quality conditions.
So I had a bot in my chat.
Okay.
So sorry. So I was like reading up on the Ruby 18 cultivar a little bit before stream because I've been seeing a lot about it lately, specifically in July for some reason, and I think it's just because like I said, Ruby or gemstone, whatever. And I actually really wanted to ask you more about that wild tree portion of the cross, because I was reading about the like Assamica and that wild tree, and what I'm kind of finding interesting is that there's a lot of different. Is all the different wild tea forests that I just didn't realize existed, I guess. And is there a wild tea forest in Taiwan as well? Is that connected to this at all, or is?
Yeah, I mean, it's gotta be. I like you was also very curious about that when I first heard about it, and it's been pointed out to me as like seedlings around like a tea growing area, it has been pointed out to me, oh, that's the mountain tea, that's the natural variety that's from here. But it's really hard to get any like specific detail about where the seeds came from, how they got to Taiwan, the origins of that. It's just accepted that it is like the wild cultivar that's there. Sorry, there's a lot of that in the tea world, and if we keep doing this work, we will be a part of what helps bring this all out. I had a student come to my tea room on Friday afternoon to interview me for a project. He's doing a thesis that he's writing. He's an anthropology student, which is interesting, at Wake Forest College. And he did pretty much a road trip across the United States, interviewing different tea houses, different tea spaces, anything to do with Gong Fu Cha. He was specifically looking at Gong Fu Cha. No specific teas, just the overall culture of Gong Fu, like who's talking about it, who's doing it, what's the culture look like. And, we ended up talking about this whole decolonization, which, prior to coming to my tea room, he hadn't heard a lot of the discourse around that on his journey. So it seems that we have a lot more work to do in that area too. But it was interesting because as a student, then he's trying to ask me like very basic questions about, well, what does decolonizing tea mean? Like, what will it look like? And it's just this, Colin. It's like asking questions. It's honoring the history, and it's not trying to say we need to deny what we're doing currently. It's just honoring the past and all of that path between there and now, so that we can have a more conscious and ethical, cultural observation around this product that, for the most part, marketers have done most of the work in educating the public about these things.
Right.
And so, it's up to us to put that work in towards, decolonizing this beautiful, beautiful gift to humanity.
Tea. So, shall we make some tea then?
Yeah, let's make some tea.
All right. So, I brought out an extra set of cups because, like we were talking about last time, about saving that first tea.
Oh, sweet. Cool.
Yeah, so I kind of want to just make that a regular thing for this podcast because I like to use that steep to kind of like wash the tea pets and rinse the teaware and stuff. But I was really intrigued to watch how that changed. So I do intend to kind of make that a regular thing.
Great.
So are you like starting with one specifically, or are you just going to make them both at the same time?
How do you want to do it? I'm set up to do either way.
So I only have two hands and I can't operate a gaiwan with my left hand, so I'm gonna start with the Malawi
cool.
tea,
Yeah, let's do it.
and just kind of get a couple steeps out of that and then go with the other one as well.
You haven't perfected the double fisting yet?
No,
the gaiwan double fist. It's an essential skill to have as like a tea server, a science person. Alright, I got a lot of leaf in mine. I'm just using the glass pitcher. Simple.
I didn't know about this, but I recently learned from somebody who regularly makes green tea in a pitcher, right? And I'm always like, my thing is that I'm not, some people think I'm weak, but I just don't like leaf in my mouth. And so like the pitcher like has always scared me, right? Because of the fact that I don't want to be eating the leaf as much. And but somebody told me about like a really interesting thing where you just use a little bamboo stick and you just put it over the little spout thing and it just like acts as like a natural filter, which is interesting to me. And so I think I'm gonna have to give that a shot because honestly, you're right, like aesthetically it looks very, very nice.
Yeah, it's nice for seeing.
The extra set of cups for the aroma cups.
You're the fancy one. Got all your aroma cups over there.
Well, so they just like came with like something else one time, one of those kind of deals where I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, chill.
I'm fancy.
They have aroma cups now. And I know it's a pretty common thing in Taiwan, so like I feel like it's appropriate to be doing with a Taiwanese tea.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, realistically, with this Taiwanese tea, if we were like out in the fields tasting this, like with the growers, they'd probably just be brewing it in a bowl, and just having us use a spoon to pull out what we want to taste from it.
I bowl brewed some Indian oolong before and actually rather enjoyed the experience. It was a really kind of relaxing type of ordeal, and I just like drank straight from the bowl. I didn't have a spoon or anything.
Yeah, that's good.
But it was kind of nice. I didn't really feel like I had to pay a whole lot of attention to my tea, but I still got to taste my tea and get to know it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's times like these when I wish I had a pot. The broken leaves tend to make the filter almost kind of unnecessary. Oh wow, that's a really dark color to that.
Yeah, it's gonna brew heavier. I'm going in. I'm not gonna be steeping this first infusion very long. I just want to taste it light.
Yeah.
That's usually how I like to progress and in my steeping, in my tea brewing, is starting out very light and then moving to a heavier and heavier steep as the infusions go on.
I do as well, and especially with like the whites and the greens, like with the yes. Cheers to you.
Oh, cheers! Yeah.
You were showing them, but I thought you were toasting. But cheers to you, friend.
Yeah, cheers. Of course, cheers. I hope the chat's cheers in too. They deserve it.
Yeah, I know. We've got a command for it. Throw it in chat. Oh. No, somebody was telling me recently that my tea always looks super light. Oh, thank you. And the reason is that specifically is that I feel like if I brew a little bit lighter, A, I can get more steeps out of it, but B, I feel like I can watch the progression of the tea a lot more easily. With like the pu'er teas and like the red teas, I feel like it kind of needs that little bit of longer steep time regardless of anything. But with these lighter teas like this, hell, like it's such a short steep time. I think I did maybe like 5 to 10 seconds on this. It's already like a super dark, like kind of coppery color.
Yeah, mine steeped pretty dark. I always forget how good this tea is, though. It's very good. Very vanilla-y.
Yeah. So I was gonna say it hits me right with the vanilla in the beginning, and we were talking last week a little bit about the broken leaves, and I was saying that usually for me that like instantly means tannin, but again here, really not the case. Is that partial oxidation or?
I mean, there's tannin there. I'll see by the end of this. So I'm steeping this pretty heavy, and by the time I'll let you know how the tannins are. But this is something interesting that we could talk about. That would be of value to this conversation. Is only recently in 2016 did we discover how tannins are actually produced in plants.
Sure.
Even wine. There's wine somms now that I talk to that if they didn't keep up with all of that information, they wouldn't know. But basically, there's the main mechanism is an organelle that is producing the tannins to protect the plants against UV, damage or pests or those types of things. So that's like the first thing that you could do to control the tannin being produced is shading, and I know that like more agroforestry methods are used in at Setembla where this tea comes from. Let me just grab a couple of pictures we can kind of see. So this farm, unfortunately, is the only one in our network that I have yet to go visit in person.
Yeah.
Which is heartbreaking, because I like having, that experience of actually feeling, where the tea is coming from.
So you said vanilla like right off the bat, and
Yeah.
and like just kind of like sitting here with it and letting that tea kind of go down my throat and stuff and kind of finish off a little bit. Melon starts to come back a little bit. Not quite like cantaloupe, but kind of in like a sort of a melon type flavor.
Yeah, I get that. I love melon. It's one of my favorite flavors. Like, yeah, of ice cream and stuff like that. Yeah.
But it's an interesting combination with the vanilla, right? And this is kind of the first time that I've seen this combination. So you sent me one more Satemwa sample in the first pack that you sent me, which was the Father Zambezi's Mission.
Yeah.
And I have yet to get to try that one still. Just I've been waiting for the opportunity to kind of like try it so I can like maybe like try it on stream or something like that. But and so I've kind of like read some reviews like in other places of other like Malawi teas and stuff, and what I find is that there's this kind of consistent level of fruitiness, not quite citrus, but like juicy flavors to it almost, and I'm getting a little bit of that already, but because the reason that I bring this up is just because I feel like in some of my experience there's kind of this like signature flavor that kind of comes with terroir. And so I'm curious to find out if this is the signature flavor here that I'm getting. Is this almost vanilla melon? Because this is a very new kind of new terroir for me, kind of a new flavor as well.
Yeah. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to share video. I mean, I guess what I could do is just share my screen, but then that's gonna mess your whole thing up. I didn't think about this. Because I was thinking about that. I was like, yeah, I could like just share screen, or but you would have to set up a scene for that, and we'd have to coordinate when that's gonna happen so that you can change the scene over. Because I'd like to share some photos with you. I mean, maybe you can pull them up.
So I've actually got the grower profile up on.
Sweet. That's what I was going to show anyway. So, I mean, if just to kind of get an idea of the, like what the terroir looks like. I was talking about the shading, that plays a role. That's been something spoke on in the coffee industry, as well as in teas, the importance of shading. And this is one of those mechanisms in the plant that, does affect that.
Is this a shade-grown tea?
I wouldn't call it that, but I mean, it's an agroforestry type of environment. So, if you just look at the main image here on the profile, like that main image, you see those big trees up there. Those play a big role in shading, and it's not 100% shade. Right, like matcha, gyokuro, those types of teas, you would, want a complete blackout shade. But here, it's just the maybe like 10 to 20% shading that comes from trees like this. But that's why it's really important to keep the trees, there. A lot of growing regions. They're encouraged to like monoculture as much as possible, because those trees are taking nutrients. Those trees are taking, water from the tea. And so, a farmer could justify, okay, let's get rid of this so that we could have, more tea production. But it does play a role in quality.
So basically what I'm kind of picking up that you're saying as far as like agroforestry, is that the term?
Yes.
So, because this is the first time I've heard of this. And so kind of what I'm picking up is that the trees have been cultivated, grown, planted, and then maintained in a specific way to influence the actual tea plant. And I've got the picture kind of pulled up here. You can kind of see the trees. They're like amongst the tea bushes here in the field, right? And
they create a lot of shade because they're a big canopy. They're very high. Yeah.
And what I can pick up too is that because it's not complete shade, as opposed to like if you were making like matcha or something, it's really gonna like it's a cycle that kind of goes throughout the day as well. So like some things will be shaded during some parts of the day, others shaded during other parts. So like does that I feel like that would create an inconsistency with the leaf specifically, which I guess would be kind of interesting in terms of how the leaf is blended, if we're talking about the processing at all. But
Yeah, well, and that's why it's important whenever I go to like Nepal or I go to India, and especially like cooperatives, you meet with them and they're collecting leaf from all the small tea growers within a 20-kilometer radius around where they are, and they'll just blend everything without really being conscious. And I tell them, imagine this area, like every plot of land has very unique conditions, the soil conditions, the shade conditions, like what you just spoke on. And imagine each one of these portions is kind of a different color. And if you blend everything together, I mean, I don't know if you've ever done that with paint before. It's kind of fun to do it, but you get a really kind of boring result, which is just brown.
yeah,
Yeah. And so I try to let them know that like this is what's special about tea, and not to say that you shouldn't blend, but just like with color blending, it has to be very mindful of like we want specifically the yellow to go with the blue to create this green, or the pink and the blue to create the purple, versus just blending everything together. And things like shade, like the aeration of the soil, the nutrients in the soil, the all of these elements of terroir, work within these kind of like micro ecosystems. That a large estate like Setembla, it's a very large estate. This is definitely the largest estate that we work with. It's really hard to keep track of all of that stuff, but Setembla has done a really good job of converting their factory from the commodity, CTC only. Like they certainly do still process CTC because that's where the market is, but they were one of the first companies in Africa to invest in the research and the quality development to start doing these more orthodox styles of teas.
orthodox.
There you go.
As we talked about last time. What does that mean?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I talk about that a lot with terroir in that like it's so much more than just the soil and where it is, right? Because I feel like there's so many little things that you can like taste as well. There's a tea I have that's from the wild trees in Manipur, and it's a white tea from 2019, and I've got the same one from 2020. And from that one specifically, from the 2019, there's this distinct flavor of this wild ginger. Right, and that's not there in the 2020, which tells me that depending on when these were harvested, there's got to be a difference in the terroir around them, in the ecosystem and stuff. And I feel like when I compare kind of the factory produced teas to these single estate teas or these single plantation teas, I can taste those things. And I know that it's a common practice to like grow other plants between the tea trees or the tea bushes and stuff to kind of like add to that a little bit. And I don't know. It's interesting. Do you know what kind of trees those are?
I don't. Yeah, that's kind of information that hasn't been provided to us in great detail, and like I haven't gone in person, and so it's a little bit problematic, and that's kind of the issue with working with these larger scale production units, is like the quality can be there. There's a lot more work to be done in providing that transparency, because like the other tea we'll be drinking is the opposite of that, where every little detail is there, and Alfredo Lin will, bend over backwards to let you know how excited he is about all those details.
Do you want to make a little bit of that tea real quick so we can do a little side by side as well?
Yeah, that'll be a good idea. Let's do it.
Cool. Let me go through my whole first tea and save it.
Yeah, do it. Do it.
It's a fun little practice. I don't know.
It is. Meditative.
Oh, it's so much lighter in color already.
Oh, yeah.
All right, here we go.
Oh, you know, I can safely say, though, that this tea is all some Asamaka variety.
Oh, okay. You're
Yeah.
talking about the
Bubongwe
Satemwa tea?
teas, yeah.
Yeah.
But the details on that, I don't know.
Honestly, I don't really know half the difference between all of the varietals. So.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to learn, you know, and that's part of the work, you know.
Yeah. I can definitely identify the Asamaka cultivar. Ooh. It's like a spiciness to that.
Ooh, spicy. Alfredo will like that description.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Alfredo's a funny man. Actually, I probably, what time? It's probably like very early in the morning there, but I could probably get him to come on with us.
Oh, really?
Like right now. Alfredo, we're drinking your tea. Let me hit him up.
More about your tea. And I've got a second steep here on the Satemwa tea.
I'm still on that first steep, and I decanted some of it, and it is becoming more astringent.
Yeah?
Yeah, so there definitely is some tannic activity.
So that, and I'm sure that's due to steep time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But if a tea is like completely non-tannic, you know, that's why they say like a really good tea, even if you leave it steeping for 5 minutes with boiling water, will never become overly astringent or overly bitter because it's just that good. You know, it doesn't have those things in it.
Right. And I know that honestly something that does help with that sometimes is at least in my experience, and I don't know if this is always the case, but at least with like green teas specifically, that whole leaf as opposed to the broken leaf helps with that a little bit.
Yeah.
It kind of depends with the white tea, but so I've got two this is one of the reasons why I love white tea. I've got two teas from similar cultivars based on, you know, what we've discussed, as well as the same styles, so similar processing, and I'm looking at two completely different shades of just two completely different colors altogether. I've got like a kind of a light yellow over here and just this like really dark kind of amber copper on the other one. It's just amazing.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see in the color variation, you know, that both teas did have a pretty vast range of oxidation processing amounts. Oh man, the aroma on this is just knock your socks off.
Are you talking about the ruby?
Oh yes.
Oh yeah. Like that's that spiciness. Oh my gosh. There's like a, I don't know, it's like a spicy fruit. Anyway.
Yeah, ever since the very first time that I tried this cultivar tea, it was in Taiwan, and it was with Master A1s, who, you know, is credited for popularizing it among the tea growing community in Sun Moon Lake area. I always identified sarsaparilla like root beer.
Oh, okay.
But a lot of people like to call it. Oh, Alfredo is in chat.
Oh, is he in your chat?
Yeah, Alfredo is in chat, but we got to get him here. Let me call him. We'll get him live in. I mean, I could give him the link to this Zoom, but I don't know. What do you think would be the best to get him in right now? He's ready.
I can do Zoom. I don't mind. Do you want to take a short break so we can figure that out?
Yeah, we could. We could take a little short because this is special. He's available.
Yeah. All right, chat. We're gonna take a short break. So I'm gonna turn off the live sign. If y'all have any questions so far, feel free to let us know. We're gonna get Alfredo.
Yeah, we're gonna talk to chat now. Feel free to ask questions or follow us. Do what you want to do. But yeah, we're gonna get Alfredo in. Let me give him the link, and he can just come from his phone.
I'm gonna try this tea. I really want to. It smells amazing.
Try it. It's so good.
Oh my gosh.
It's really good.
It's like a thick that's okay, Afan. Get the good tea. You don't need Yorkshire Gold. It's like thick. So when I tried that moonshine for the first time, you said cotton candy, right? And the mouthfeel of this is very similar to that kind of cotton candy type feel.
Yeah.
But the flavor is completely different. Okay, so that spicy fruit, that's sarsaparilla. That's 100% what that is. You said it, and I went, yep. I had to taste to make sure, but yeah. You're totally right on that. Turn on a little bit of music since we're not in the formal part. What time is it in Taiwan?
Yeah, Alfredo, what time is it? I think it's early, but he's got a toddler, so he's up early. He's also a tea farmer, so they don't really get to sleep that much.
I've never known any farmer, period, that was able to really get a whole lot of sleep.
Yeah, tea growing is and there's on times and off times, so there's some parts of the year where they're very available, but then there's other parts of the year, such as the spring flush or summer flush, where you're just working around the clock.
Yeah.
I don't know, he's telling me he doesn't have Zoom. I don't think, well, he needs Zoom on his phone if he wants to use his phone, right? But and I don't know if he's got a computer. I don't think he has a computer. So he has to download Zoom. Download it, dude. I've known Alfredo a long time. I mean, he really is one of my first, tea mentors, tea friends. He's just slightly older than me. He studied tea much longer than me. He told me in Taiwan, or at least in his circles with his friends, you can't start considering yourself a tea master until you've been studying tea under a tea master for 27 years. Yeah.
Oh. So what's funny about that is that reminds me a lot of kind of the video production industry, right? In that you're supposed to be making, and according to all of my professors, you're supposed to be making 10 pieces of work a year to remain relevant, right?
Yeah. So
imagine trying to make 10 short films every single year. That is not really reasonable. And it's one of those where you're like, because to me that sounds curious, because I guess my question is, out of this, is it important to be a tea master?
And I think we should ask Alfredo when he comes.
Yeah.
That'll be a good question to ask him when he gets here, because I think that he has strong opinions about that,
I can only imagine.
Because he's no longer studying under that tea master, and does that negate the years and time he did invest in it? No. Is he able to accelerate his education on his own terms? Yes. Right? So, there's importance.
It's a balance.
There's a balance. There's an importance to humility. There's an importance to taking your time and learning something. But It's just like with tasting tea, learning how to taste tea. You may have like one or two teachers as you get into it, and you may come to a tipping point where it's like, I know how to taste tea. I am confident in my body, in the feelings that I'm experiencing, and the ways that I can acquire tea. I think I can do this on my own. I'll do it better on my own, perhaps, because, sometimes your teachers, and that's part of the decolonization. I think I was telling you last week about being a part of Ray's class from Grass People Tree, is that part of the decolonization is aligning yourselves with the right teachers, the right facilitators, versus just, following whoever's popular or whoever has the best mark. We got an Alfredo Lin.
Oh.
Yes. Let's let him in. All right, so it might be choppy on the audio when he first gets here. Did he get him in? All right, he's connecting. I'm just playing his video as we wait for him to get in on my side. Did you ever watch that one, the one of him singing?
I don't think I did.
Yeah, maybe you can show it for your peeps while we set this up. It's on his profile page.
Okay.
Here we are now, Buxia Village. It's a small town in Nantou, Mingjian, and here our elevation is 300 meters high, and here is my best friend, my partner, my brother, Mingqing Chen.
Oh, there it is, I think.
We grow.
Hey, Alfredo,
hello.
I hear you
I
now.
cannot hear you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Protect our
Turn the volume up.
and here is organic tea farm.
Technical problems.
12
Uh-oh.
years.
And your video not on either.
You can eat. No bitter. It's organic.
Oh, here it is. Yay.
I was
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
turn your phone sideways, friend.
But I cannot hear you.
There is a beautiful organic tree. My life.
Let me try.
Keep it. If you like us, please drink our tea. You will feel.
Can you hear us now? Maybe check the settings on your volume.
I think the problem is my microphone,
Oh, you got your microphone. Oh, you got your lapel mic. Nice.
but I cannot hear you really.
You can't hear at all, period?
Try to. Connect. Mm. Say something.
Yeah, test. Alfredo, lean, test.
No. There's no voice come.
Alright, I try this one.
Try this one. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
That's good. You sound good. Yeah, you
do sound good, yeah.
Yeah, you're good. Hey, Alfredo, real quick, turn your camera. Turn the camera. Turn your phone. Yes, you're so good looking. Turn it so we can see you better. Yeah, good. Thank you.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm gonna get fancy here, getting Alfredo here. So we get to do the exclusive interview. Oh yes. All right, I got you on. We're live with Alfredo Lean. Yeah. Good to see you, Alfredo. Hey, good morning. This is my friend Colin. We're recording a podcast right now. We're live. We're on the live television.
Lovely to meet you.
And we're drinking your tea.
Mm-hmm.
and you're trying to learn about it, you know. And we thought it'd be fun to get you here, hanging out, drinking the tea with us.
So this is for me the first time that I'm having anything from the Ruby 18 cultivar, and I think the first thing I said was, "Oh my God, it's spicy," and there's just kind of a really neat I don't know, like creamy kind of a texture to it already. So just I'm just really excited about this tea already. Is all I'm really trying to say at the moment.
Thank you.
It's nice to meet you though. I've been working here. I've been talking to Elise here for a little while about this podcast, and we were just kind of hoping to kind of get to know where the tea comes from a little bit. And so I'm really excited to have you here with us. I don't know, but
Thank you. My pleasure.
Hey, Alfredo, I got a question you can answer that would be valuable content. We were curious about the Taiwan tea variety. Where did it come from?
You mean Ruby 18?
Well, so Ruby 18 come from the Taiwan cultivar with the Assamica from Burma mixing. Yeah.
Say that the wild Taiwan tea mountain tea, the wild mountain tea with manbai. I don't know how to say that word. 缅甸怎么讲？manbai. You mean the country very close the India, very close India.
Yeah. You're talking about Burma, the Myanmar?
Burma with Taiwan wild tea.
Yeah. So the Taiwan wild tea, where did it come from?
Where did it come from? It's the original in Taiwan. How to say that? It's clear.
Is indigenous?
Native, right?
Native.
It's the wild Taiwan wild mountain tea. How to say that? It's been there 1,000 years ago.
1,000 years ago. 1,000.
Long history.
See, hard to pin it down. Not a whole lot of understanding about that history. I mean, I'm sure if we went to the Taiwan Tea Research Center, do you think they have the answers, Alfredo?
Uh-oh.
Guy.
I'm not rich guy, he says. Oh, he's back. He's coming back. We'll get him back. Okay, you're back, Alfredo.
There you are.
Yeah.
The signal here is not clear.
Yeah. Where are you?
In product factory.
Oh, you're in the factory.
Factory. I had a roti. Let me.
Yeah.
My
Oh, hopefully you get your signal. I want to see your tea room. Last time I was there, not finished.
Yeah, this time is finished now.
Woo, beautiful.
You should check this way.
You can flip the camera, you know, if you want to. Oh, that looks great. Good lighting.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm sure you could get a lot of good, like, really good tea photos. I'm always so in love with like those really nice, high quality tea photos.
Thank you.
Yeah, Alfredo is actually quite the photographer. He's very, very good. I need to come back and visit Alfredo. It's been too long.
What's the 3 years?
Uh-huh.
Long time no see, my sister.
Yeah, I know. And when are you gonna come back to United States?
When the when the second how to say the word COVID
COVID. Yeah.
vaccine second vaccine soon.
So
So
I just had a question for you. As far as like the COVID, how is that kind of affected, like, I guess, your tea business, if at all, if you feel like sharing with us?
No.
He just says no.
No thanks.
Drink it. Yeah, drink it.
Drink the tea.
I will.
And I can mad more. Nutmeg.
Hey, I got a question, Alfredo. This podcast right now, the name of this podcast is called The First Steep. The First Steep, right? So with this tea, with the ruby white, we're drinking the ruby white. How do you brew the first steep? And also, do you drink the first steep or do you rinse the first steep?
Well, I brewed the new crab white tea ruby 18. Use the 95 degree and 5 gram. I brew it 2 minutes, and then I drink the first brew, because the first brew tea is you can drink it very sec, because I don't use the chemistry, and even the fertilizer is anyway, drink my tea.
I can make more. Yeah, that's good. So only rinsing teas that are using the chemicals. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't use the chemistry things to grow tea. Yeah. And the strange things is ruby white tea and ruby black tea are two kind of how to say that, two type. If you drink it, you can you will feel it's different, but it's same ruby how to say, variety, same variety, but two type feeling, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so I'm drinking the black tea now, Ruby 18.
Say if we're talking about like how we're feeling as well.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, because something that was kind of fun to me was that, so we you know, kind of got started on the ruby white specifically, and like we went, you know, through like first steep and stuff, and that was immediately as soon as you said that at least that Alfredo here was in chat and potentially able to hop on. And it was so funny to me because we turned off that live sign and like, you know, kind of like went a little bit more casual, and like I felt like immediately, because I started drinking the tea, and like I felt immediately almost like that kind of like energy hit me, and like I feel like we immediately like opened up into this really kind of fun, kind of vibrant conversation. I was like, oh my God, this is always how it goes.
I also noticed a very pointed difference in my energy, you know, contrasting from the other tea. The other tea we drank was pleasant to drink.
Right.
You know, that vanilla sweetness from it was really pleasant, easy to drink. It didn't have a very, you know, kind of vast mouthfeel to it or complex mouthfeel. It was very simple. But, you know, this ruby white definitely has the mouthfeel, that thickness. That's what you use that word, thickness, to it. But the energetics just immediately, you know?
Yeah.
I felt the energetics. I'm feeling good. Alfredo, thank you for helping me feel good.
Thank you.
Say-
Drink
What fascinates me about that though is because like I always find that this feeling that I get from the ruby white always comes from like the teas that we call gushu, right? Most specifically, like most strongly, I guess. And I guess what's interesting to me as well, kind of in relation to that, is just the fact that the cultivar itself comes from what Alfredo you're saying is like, you know, the native tree to Taiwan. And you know, we're drinking tea, we can get a little, you know, what people around where I live would call kind of a little hippy dippy, but like, you know, I feel like it's like this tea specifically has a very different connection to where it was grown, where it came from, and kind of the land itself that it's come from than the other tea. The other tea was really nice. I feel like I'm experiencing this tea though, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
So I think what you're referring to is what's called cha chi.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alfredo, what do you know about that? Can you educate us?
I cannot explain Chachi.
I don't know if I've known anybody that can.
Even I'm confused, but I don't know why. I drink other people. They make the ruby 18 white tea, but I cannot feel chachi inside. I don't know why, but maybe it's about the how growing. I'm not. Maybe it's corrupt, but I don't know. Chachi just inside there. Yeah, you got it right. You can feel it, but
Yeah.
you can explain why. Just feel strange.
Strange. Excellent.
Yeah.
Different.
There's an elation.
Excellent.
Excellent. Different.
Yeah, excellent and different.
I know that for me sometimes. What's that?
My English better now. Now I know excellent and different.
No, but excellent different is a great combination of words. Like they never get put together, but they need to, and that's Alfredo. That's what you
Totally
feel. Excellent different. Don't let anybody tell you that's bad English. That's the best English ever. That's the best one. Excellent
Good
different.
And besides English, like I think we said this before, English is 3 other languages stacked on top of each other in a trench coat, poorly impersonating one language.
Thank you. My tea master always say, keep quiet and drink more.
Learn
You
from the
know?
tea.
Drink more tea. And my tea master tell me, don't talk too much. Just feel it. Feel it. Yeah.
Can you tell us about your tea master?
Now he retired now, so he he just say don't talk about he because he retired now. He don't want to make tea anymore. So he anyway he retired
Yeah.
and he don't want people to trouble his life.
When will
Okay.
you become a tea master?
Really? I don't know. Maybe I cannot be a tea master, but I love to make tea. Cracking tea, make tea, drink tea. That's all. And even I teach my little son, my son, drink tea, but he cannot drink tea now. So I teach how to holding the cups to drink water, and tell him this is tea, very sweet. Drink tea. So I don't know. Maybe I cannot be a tea master, just like Michael.
Jojo.
Michael, he is a tea master, but I'm not. I'm the tea lover, I think. Yeah.
That's a very humble.
That's better for me because I'm trying to say about the tea. Yeah, but I think I can make more good tea, and and people can drink more good tea who I met. Yeah, yeah. Make good tea is my duty, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I think all
Yeah,
of us.
and by the way, I'm on duty now.
Yeah.
I'm making breakfast now.
What part of the process are you in the middle of right now?
Now cracking.
Oh, plucking.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
the cracking. So I'm waiting for the fresh tea back here. Yeah, I'm waiting now. So so I can take a rest here
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. No, you're working. You're doing marketing. This is
Yeah.
marketing right now on the podcast.
Oh, really? Oh. Hello, my friends. Here is Alfredo Link. Yeah. I'm shy to say something, but drink my tea. You can know me more.
Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity to introduce my tea. Not introduce me. Okay.
But thank you for letting us get to know you through your tea, honestly, as well. You seem wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're getting
Alright.
some fresh Alfredo infusions over here. All right, Alfredo, we'll let you get back to your resting because I know you're gonna have a lot of work to do once the tea arrives. So you gotta rest up. But thanks
Thank
for
you for
joining
joining
us.
us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to see you, Colin.
Always good to see you.
Yeah, Colin.
Love you, Alfredo.
Bye.
Bye bye. There we go.
That was really, really cool.
Yeah, that was great. That was a spontaneous little thing. You know, of anybody that we work with, like he's the most like spontaneous like that, you know, that yeah, I know I can call him out and he'll hang out with us.
Well, what I love so much about getting to talk with him a little bit there was what he said kind of there at the end with you know, when we drink his tea we get to know him, and I think really for me specifically, I don't know about you, that's really kind of why I wanted to do this, was so that we could kind of I feel like when I drink tea, I get to know the people who make the tea, the land that the tea comes from. I get to know kind of a little bit more about the world itself, and that was really, really neat to get to actually meet the person who's doing that. So thank you for helping me set that up.
Yeah, I mean, I should be more prepared, you know, every week, and get, you know, because there's several farmers that do have good internet service so that they would be able to join us. Alfredo being one of them. But yeah, he's always a character. But you see that, like, how humble he is about the whole tea master thing.
Yeah.
That's a part of that culture, you know. So if you ever meet a self-proclaimed tea master, maybe problematic, maybe.
Well, okay, so something that my father always told me when I was younger, so for me, because this really, I feel like this is really related to this. So growing up, I came up from a very musical family, right? And so something that my father always told me was that a good guitarist should never have to tell you they're a good guitarist.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like something that we just kind of got to know from Alfredo there is that he doesn't have to tell you how good his teas are, you know, like you drink them, and he doesn't feel the need to either, it seems, you know. He didn't seem to feel the need to brag about his teas or anything like that. He was just very proud of them and just happy to share them, and that's something that I think is something that I've only really seen in the tea community to this degree. So
Yeah. When it comes to tea makers, like actual tea makers, that's how they are. You know, when it comes to tea merchants, it's a completely different story. You know, and you know, a lot of value attached to this like romantic lore that you know, somehow have this like ultimate mastery of this thing that ultimately is like an endless rabbit hole. You know, to master it. My definition of a tea master is a tea maker that makes a perfect batch of tea 100% of the time, no matter what. You know, so even if you were to throw them into a completely new terroir, a completely new environment, new tea varieties, new processing equipment, like a true tea master would figure it out. You know, it may take them a little bit of time to like assess what's going on and figure it out, but they have such an intimate relationship with the tea leaf that, yeah, they make a perfect batch of tea 100% of the time. You know, somebody, he had mentioned another tea master, Jojo, or Mike. He's a tea merchant out of Miami. And we could talk about him because we've all talked about this. And Mike, you know, it wasn't by his choice, but there's like a tea brewing competition started out of Russia, I believe. They were the first country to launch this kind of like a barista contest, or, you know, you probably have seen something like that,
Mm-hmm.
Which are very good. Like, those activities are very good for popularizing lifestyles of products and, you know, kind of glamorizing and formalizing, you know, the expertise of getting into these types of things. They called it the Tea Masters Cup, and
Sure.
so Mike competed in it, and he won, and so now, you know, he's the first, because like they set up these competitions in different countries, and that was the first time for it to happen in the United States, and so he's, you know, America's first tea master. But it's a joke, you know. We can all joke with him about, oh, you're a tea master now, because he knows. Like, he's good friends with Alfredo. We've spent a lot of time traveling around to different tea origins and learning about tea making. But yeah, there's a tea brewing competition, and, you know, maybe that's something, Colin, you could get into. I think it's a good thing. The industry and the lifestyle as a whole does need these types of honors and events to really create that movement around this product more than just
The hype.
Yeah, the hype, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it. So I'm needing a break from the tea. Like, you know, sometimes your body tells you it's, you know, you've had the good amount, and so I'm actually gonna be pausing it for a second. Although
You're
I
good.
have more infusions, I definitely have a night full of tea left to go for me.
So I was actually going to recommend a break. Do you want to do a break, or do you want to finish up this episode here? What are you feeling? Because I'm happy to keep going, honestly, keep talking about the tea. But
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think because Alfredo came, it triggered this Zoom meeting to finish. So we have like 8 minutes left. I mean, we certainly can restart it and do it over, but why don't we just spend these last 8 minutes kind of closing it out?
Mhm.
I think that'd be
that
good.
works for me.
Cool.
I'll turn off the live signal, and I'm happy to take questions about. And I mean, you're the expert, but we're happy to take questions at this point. So you know, Catnip, welcome in. Glad to have you here. I see that you popped in there. But yeah, that was a kind of a really neat session there. I did not expect that tonight, actually.
Yeah, me neither. But, you know, you just gotta go with the flow.
But that's the beauty of today's world, right? Like,
Yeah.
we wouldn't have been able to do this, I feel like, before. And I hate being the guy that's like, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, it's the truth. Like, that's something that we can just kind of do now.
Yeah, definitely. You know, there was something I wanted to say about the flavor notes on this Ruby White, and it's just like in general for this cultivar, the Ruby 18 cultivar, is you know, so we talked about the sarsaparilla, and then I don't know if we talked much about it. I mean, I mentioned it, but there's kind of like that cooling menthol kind of sensation. The actual
Right in the back of the throat.
Yeah, the actual note that does link those two is camphor. Camphor is a tree. Its essence is used in tiger balm. So if you can imagine tiger balm, like when you smell it, it's almost like spicy. That was like that spicy. That's the note that is typically used, you know, in the tea connoisseurship world for this cultivar.
Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I've heard camphor thrown around a lot lately, and for some reason this is the first time I'm actually knowing what it means. But that makes a lot of sense. And so as I was reading beforehand, because I like to kind of go into tasting things like tea, wine, beer, whatever it be, a little bit quote unquote blind, I guess you could say. not kind of spoiling myself, but I like to know kind of like what are some general things to look for. And so I was kind of reading through the reading through the listing for this on your website, and I don't be surprised if there's an order for this soon, but
Awesome. It's a good tea.
it really is. But I noticed the menthol flavor, and because I was just kind of looking, just seeing like, is there anything interesting that I want to look up? Make sure I like, see if I have any questions, see if there's anything I want to talk about. And the menthol flavor was really interesting, so I was looking for that, and I didn't bring it up because I kind of I was really excited about talking to Alfredo, but yeah, it like hits in the back of your throat, and it's interesting because it's like that finish that where that kind of flavor kind of comes back a little bit, kind of up over time. It lingers there, just kind of refreshing, and it doesn't make your mouth feel heavy and dense like some like red teas and pu'er teas and dark teas do.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I'm gonna drink these first steeps as well.
Oh yeah, enjoy that.
So I'm gonna start with the one from September. I don't know how to pronounce this name. Can you say that for me one more time?
Bavumbué.
Bavumbué.
There you go. You got it. Bavumbué BSP. Broken Special Peco. How was it? Good memories?
Yeah, I do. The melon flavor is still there. Jones, welcome in. Glad to have you. The melon flavor is still there, but that kind of vanilla isn't quite there yet. And this is before the leaves really opened up or anything. So
Yeah. I mean, this was a broken grade, so there's not a whole lot of opening up of the leaves.
right, but you know what I mean, like.
Yeah.
and with this, like, the leaves to me looked a lot like Xiao Mei.
Yeah.
Or Xiao Mei, I guess it would be, but yeah. And yeah, those don't really open up. They're pretty open when you get them.
Yeah. All ready to go.
Here's the Ruby 18.
So, the Ruby 18 is traditionally or conventionally made into a black tea.
Mm-hmm.
And Alfredo, one of the reasons why he said that he's started exploring processing into other tea types is actually around climate change. And, it's such a shame that he didn't feel like he didn't feel prepared to answer that question for you, because he does have a lot of very strong, passionate thoughts around how climate change is affecting his fields. Like, he's been talking to me about it for the past 8 years. Every season he's got a new story of landslides, of inconsistent things happening to his fields. But now, over the past couple of years, he's been advocating a lot of creating new tea types, new processing types to address these changes in the climate. That maybe that's only one solution. There's going to be lots more. There's a lot of people in the industry that are advocating for like GMO to be the opportunity to address climate change, which could be one of them. But really taking a holistic viewpoint as a tea master, as a tea maker, and producing teas such as this, 18 Ruby White, or an oolong tea from it. So it just basically means there's a lot more exciting new teas that we have yet to discover.
And I absolutely love it, because I mean, some of the coolest teas come from just some of the weirdest little backgrounds, with just the craziest little ideas. I've already found that with like some of the Nepal teas that I've gotten, with this tea as well. So excited to see kind of where that goes. It is a shame that he couldn't talk. He didn't feel comfortable talking to us about that, though. I could tell that there was something. He seemed.
He would love to answer that question, but it's just like the English,
Yeah, that was what I was picking up on. I was trying. Yeah, but.
Hey,
well,
we're just about to get disconnected. So if that happens, I mean, we're fine.
Yeah.
I think we've had a good discussion today.
Yeah. Thank you
good.
so much for joining me, Elise.
Yeah, thanks to you, Colin. I look forward to next week. We'll have another fun pairing to go over every week.
Yeah.
First steep.
Episode 2 is a success. And all right, and I'll see you later to Elisa's chat, and my stream I will be continuing, but
Yeah.
at least I
Yeah, when we
hope that you
drop out. Yeah.
Cool.
Bye-bye.
Have a great night.
You too. See ya.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Oh, you got two of me? There's two of me? So many of me? Let me turn off his cam. There we go. Oh, we can get off right in the background there. That'll be good. Look at this tea. I like been letting this white tea steep for like the whole episode, and it's like super dark. It looks like a black tea almost. It's crazy. All right, so yeah, that's the new podcast that I'm collaborating with Baka Studio, Colin. And we're gonna be doing this every Monday night at 8 p.m. Pacific. And it'll be just like this. We're gonna do pairings of tea, tasting two different teas from either two different places or from the same place, having different processing, or you know, any kind of pairing that would show some type of parallel, some kind of complement, or some kind of contrast, and just having the discussions around that, as well as oh, what happened there? Oh, you know why? Because the articles. Y'all don't want to see that. Let me fix this. Huh. Oh, I know why. Oh, I like this song. Whew. Yeah, do y'all have any questions about white tea, about what we talked about tonight? Yeah, I don't think I can handle drinking some more tea. My tummy's telling me it's time. Sometimes, yeah, you just gotta listen to your body. And it can just take a few minutes. Or a snack. And that's really what would be good for me right now. It's just a little snack. If I had some like popcorn or some peanuts, you know, and that's why with tea culture, a lot of times your teas are served with a small little snack to enjoy with your tea. Brilliant Lunch, are you still here? You left us such a sad story in chat earlier. I would have loved to have, talked to you about it, but we were in the middle of recording that podcast. Yeah, we only have one person, only one friend here on Twitch. I don't know if we should do a raid. I might just end the stream. But I will see all of y'all tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, I'll be back. I'll be doing some gaming. I'll be playing some Gods Unchained. So if you are into digital card collection games, come back to the stream. If you're on Reddit, go ahead and follow me. You'll get the notification when I go live. I will be streaming live to Reddit a lot more often now. I used to only stream on Friday nights, but now I'm feeling comfortable that I can hang out with y'all for any time that I'm, streaming from my studio. I do also IRL streaming. Maybe I'll get to that point of doing IRL with Reddit, but for now, yeah, I'm just having fun, trying to build some community here, talk about tea, get the tea culture out there, because it's good. It's good for all of us. It's good for the whole world. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. I want to go finish my day of work, and I'll be seeing you all around tomorrow afternoon and the rest of the week. Much love. Pure aloha. Bye, Reddit.